Hi, Megan. Just taking a look at this logo. I do like that you put it in a circle shape. I almost wonder if this font is just too fine, because once I start to zoom out, I lose, especially the Dave, a lot. And this might be too many, like these little boxes. It might not be bold enough. There might be too many details in here, and even like these details might be a little bit too much. One thing you could try is you could set up a new document, file new, make it 3x3, CMYK, color mode, raster effects high, and then create that. So that's basically what I have here. And then let's just work on the black logo first. So I'm going to copy and paste it over. I would say maybe try reworking this. Let's use the ellipse tool like you did. Maybe let's fill it in. Let's try not to use strokes, because when you size down, strokes oftentimes disappear. Let's grab the knife. I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'm going to group it. And let's see if we can make something out of that. I would say, like, if you want to use this Dave font, that would be good. Let's grab this and let's just see if we can make the warp tool work for this. I'm gonna maybe bring the size down on it. Just, I don't know, maybe like that. I don't know. It's still probably too big, but and then we could just kind of maybe just make this a little bit wider. I wonder if the width tool, actually the width tool might work better for this. Let me see if I can make that work. Also, another thing you could do is you could draw a line, push shift to get it straight, make the stroke on it black, maybe 2 points just so we can, or 3 maybe, so we can see it, and use the width tool on it. And we can just start expanding it and, you know, adding points on here. We can make this wider and try to match the, and you can add points to the stroke with this plus sign. And we can even probably make kind of this dagger shape that you had, potentially, maybe, or something similar anyway. I'm trying to add a point here, but it's not really wanting to. Okay, so I can, you know, potentially get some of the shapes started, and then we could put an ellipse, ellipse on the back here, kind of like how you had it. Fill that in black. It's not perfectly how I want it to be, but I can always add a little bit of something like that to make a somewhat of a dagger. We could push shift and then push center here, and that would make a dagger for you. Vector dagger. We are missing some of the bevel that you have there, but it's pretty close. And I was kind of wanting this to be, let's get back on the width tool. I was kind of wanting this to be, I was kind of wanting this to be a little bit wider so that you could still put the Dave in there. We still want it to look like a dagger though, so this might need to be a little bit bigger. Something like that. And this part here isn't really quite, I'd like to be able to curve it. And so we might be able to use the twirl tool on this. I don't know. Oh, maybe not. If I expand the shape, let's see. Expand, object, expand appearance. And then let's use the twirl tool here. Oops, that's way too much twirl. Maybe just one. That's way too much twirl too. Okay. Twirl tool is not going to work. No. I wonder if there's an adjustment that we can do. Just turn it way down. Oops, okay, and then try it now. Oops, that's the wrong way. I think I can change the direction. Is it 90? And then Command Z. Maybe it's -90. No, I can't seem to figure that out. I don't think the twirl is going to work for this anyway. But, you know, we could probably create a round shape from this if we object, expand appearance. I have to do that again because I Command Z'd it too far. Maybe, I don't know. Is this doing anything? No. I'm just experimenting, sorry. Maybe the warp tool would be the best, but just making it smaller, like quite a bit smaller, actually. Maybe like 0.25. Okay. Yeah, that's probably about it. And then we could do this. You know, and kind of get more of the shape that we're wanting. Maybe something like that. I mean, it's kind of a bummer because it's not totally symmetrical, but anyway, there we go. Command G that. We can also bring that together as one solid shape now with the shape builder. And then we can still use this Dave text, so Command C, Command V. This is your custom text, but we're going to get rid of the stroke altogether. No stroke on that. Unless you want to actually make it thicker, which we could do, just to thicken it up a little bit, like maybe just to make it a little bit more bold. We don't want to go too thick with it. See, that's too thick. Keeping it around 1 might work pretty well, though. So I'm going to zoom in. So we do have a stroke, which is problematic, but we can do Object, Path, Outline Stroke. And then use the Shape Builder tool to just combine all of those together to create one solid shape, so that you don't, you know, have to go in a bunch of areas and change the stroke and the fill color. You just change it once. And then the that looks pretty good. So Danger, Dave, Marketing. So we could do, like, you know, try to make this as big as we can, get it while it's still fitting in the shape. And then maybe this would be, let's see. I still like what you have here, but if you wanted something, mine's not any better, honestly. I just wanted to show you a quick way of making the sword that's a little different. And also these are problematic on mine, especially like yours. This part of your sword looks a lot better than mine does, and the bevel on the, which is easy enough to change later, but but we could do this. We'd probably want this stroke to be pretty chunky if we're going to use a stroke, so that it shows up well. And then, you know, maybe I'm just not sure. Maybe this could be, I kind of like this being located a little differently. I wonder if it could be just straight up and down and bigger and still be legible. I'm not sure. I don't think so. It's just a problematic shape too. It's a little tricky, but maybe we could just bring this down in size. Or maybe this could just be, oops, sorry, I'm just experimenting, trying to get this to work out here. And then I do like how you have it, but I would almost put it in text that is a good, looks good with the handwritten type edgy text that you have, which I don't think this one does necessarily, but it could be a lot bigger. Something like that. I mean, obviously this text is not the best. I wouldn't say it's something that really complements the graphic necessarily. but just something a little more legible. I think the word Dave itself is pretty legible. We could still use your same sword even. Like, I just was experimenting with making a sword that way. The only reason I made this sword, though, is because I wanted it to be a little thicker to fit the text in there. And we could potentially, instead of using a circle, use a like rounded rectangle shape. So the rounded rectangle, if we hold down on the rectangle tool, we can get a rounded rectangle. And we could put this like arrange, send to back, and then just kind of switch everything out and see how that goes. And obviously we need to outline our fonts once we find the fonts that we like. I'm saying there probably is a better font to work for this, but I just kind of filled it in with something. And this might be a little bit more of what you're wanting, or maybe not what you're wanting, but it's a little bit of a safer design, I guess. But it's also going to size down better than this one would. There's not as much detail in it, which, you know, might be considered kind of a bummer, but at the same time, with a simplified graphic, you're not going to have as many problems when you go to embroider or when you go to work with it in a multitude of different applications. So, you know, something like this might work out better for you in the long run anyway. But we might put a stroke on it of, you know, or we could do a negative space thing where we take the stroke off and then do this, and then we could do the shape builder and make this its own shape, make this its own shape by clicking on them once, and then grabbing them with the black arrow tool and just doing the negative space reversal, which might be kind of a fun thing. You know, I don't know if it looks as much like a dagger anymore, but I need to move that up just a smidgen. So maybe something a little more like that. I don't like this text really. It looks like 1920s text. So you'd have to go through and, you know, find something that you like, that you think would work. And then you would have to outline that text. You can do that by just clicking on the text box once you find one that you like, scrolling down and create outlines in the quick actions in the properties panel. Actually, I don't mind that. This is called DIN, condensed bold, so maybe that one would be not a bad one to go with, potentially. Where is, okay, more options, and then I can go all caps under the character panel. Okay, and then we can center this. So yeah, and then we could outline, create outlines. I'm going to center this one and just get it centered in here. And create outlines. Okay, so maybe that's what we want. I mean, I think yours is definitely, you know, more edgy than this one is, but it's just rough. It's just hard. It's hard to, you know, you could change up the font. And you could maybe add a border. I don't know. It's just hard because you want it to size down decently. But I think something like this is going to work okay. I don't think it's as edgy as what you're trying to go for, which is kind of a bummer, but I think it'll size down easier and work easier. Anyway. So maybe doing something like this might be a good idea. Saving this out as the black and white file, like Command or file save as. Put it in your documents, in your new folder, Danger Dave logo. Create Danger Dave logo BW. Save that out. Okay, and then create, do a file save as. And then make one a CMYK version, and then save it out, and then you can add color and save that. And then submit that, so the black and white AI and the CMYK AI, and try to make some changes to this so it sizes down better, maybe something similar to this, maybe a little different, put your own twist on it, but putting two separate files together that are 3x3 is a good idea. Okay, thanks, talk to you later.